Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your September 2016 reading. I hope that everybody is doing great, and I can't wait to see what comes through for you. Just a reminder, this can be used for your sun sign, for your rising, and also for your moon. All right, so let's get started with the channeled information that came through for this month. And for you, it is very literally a note of encouragement. And what I could see in my head was sort of the word encourage or encouragement, and then sort of a peaceful and kind exchange between two people. So basically, criticism, you can't avoid it completely because that's part of life and sometimes you have to give feedback. But the way in which you deliver it can be it can be more encouraging than you would think. So for instance, if there's someone in your life who is not giving you what you need in a relationship, what you can say is, I love hearing about what's going on with you. Tonight, though, I really need a listening ear, and I appreciate your advice. Can I schedule some time and just talk to you? I need someone to listen. So you encourage them to do something that they haven't done because they didn't know that you had a need in your life. Rather than saying, you haven't been there for me lately, I need you to, that way, when you say, I appreciate the influence or the insight that you can give me in my life, and I would love to spend some time with you, versus you haven't been doing what I needed, I'm disappointed, you need to shape up. The delivery can be very sort of difficult to receive. So words of encouragement go so much further by saying positive things and then reinforcing needs or requirements or suggestions. You've buffered it a little bit. So try to buffer with encouragement wherever possible. So the other thing is, if you have, this is true of whether it's an adult or a child, and you want them to change, you want to praise as part of the encouragement, praise what's positive and praise the positive sort of levels of improvement that they're doing. So if you're asking someone to, clean up the house and they don't remember, but all of a sudden they did the dishes tonight, say, thank you so much. It means the world that I didn't have to remind you to do that. And I had a really long day, and that just really made my evening. All of a sudden, maybe they'll realize there's more to it than just a requirement. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Now let's get into your reading. The first card that we're going to look at is what the learning opportunity is. And I'm doing this in honor of all of those students, whether you're a child or an adult. This is a month when many of you have gone back to school or started seeking higher education. And this is always a fun card. If I were to title this myself, I would call it The Mask instead of The Liar. But what this is about is, first of all, new beginnings, because this is sort of like a gesture, which is sort of like the fool, if you will. But what I'm also seeing here is the need to remove facades. So for those of you that are either in a relationship or a situation where you haven't been completely truthful with someone, either because you felt that you couldn't or you were afraid, etc., now is the time to let go of that facade, let go of the mask, and stop lying to yourself or stop lying to others. And if you've caught someone in a lie, this is a month to I would just talk to them about it and say, this isn't what I expected from you, and remember the words of encouragement. Say, I feel like we've come a long way, and could we just work on being more honest with each other? It can be a two-way street. So this is a month to really try to break down any masks that you're wearing, any sort of lies or deception that you see in your life. You want to try to get rid of that or address it. And we'll look at the cards this month and see what other pieces of advice come through, both in the areas of encouragement and truth. I would have actually called that card truth, but it's good to see the shadow sides as well. And there may, in fact, be someone who is masquerading or lying to you. And so that's why it's important for us to see words like that as well. So let's see what the cards have to say. Really interesting because the Magician came up reversed for Aries as well. So let's see what else you have here. Hopefully Taurus has some positive cards here on the right. Okay, so what I see, and I'll pull the camera down because I know it's hard to view everything, is this is a month of change. And whenever we get the Tower, it's there is going to be sometimes people falling away from your life, situations falling away from your life. So this is a very important time for you to look at friendships and environments. So some of you, this might be a month that you're looking for a new job. And again, for some of you, it might be a month where you thought you knew what was going on, but you're going to find out the truth if that's not the case. For those of you where life is really okay, it's also a time to sort of affect positive changes. So we'll look at all the cards and we'll suss it out. But when I looked at your outcome card as the Tower, it means it'll be a major shift for many of you this month. All right, your central card is the Magician. For me, the Magician is an opportunity for focus sometimes. When you look at a traditional Rider-Waite card, you'll see one of each suit in front of them. This card, not so much. This one is showing more sort of connection to magic and a connection to, well, I will say that the focus element here is this sort of monkey on the side that may not be as disciplined as she or he needs to be. So what I would say for you is, first things first, you can't do everything. You need to prioritize how you're going to spend your time and what you want to get done this month. If you take that list of 10 things and bring it down to 2 or 3, it's going to be a lot easier to manifest. Temperance is also saying, try to not go to extremes in anything. So again, rather than staying up really late, burning the candle at both ends, or trying to go to every possible work engagement or social engagement, you're going to have to say no this month and focus on the tangible act of manifestation, which is the Magician. So this is part of going back to school. This is part of starting a new job. This is part of the change. And this really does read a lot for students because everything will change. But in your life in general, there's a big window that opens up for Taurus where you can shift things around that have not been working to hopefully to your benefit and to your gain. Okay. So with the Two of Wands in the deep past, I see that a lot of you have already been doing very positive strides and projection work in your life where you're starting to look out and think, what do I need? What do I want? Where do I want to be in a few years? So planning has already happened for many of you. And if it hasn't, there's some catch-up work to do for many of you. So go ahead and do that if you need to. Otherwise, good work, and keep your eye on the distant sort of goal and try not to lose sight of that, because a lot of times there's so much going on that you may feel trapped, or you may feel like, how do I do all of this? I feel like the beginning of the month is going to start off with a surge of energy. It's a great time for being in a relationship and sort of physically connecting with a partner. So romance, definitely open up around the first of the month for you. Queen of Swords, it could in fact be a very strong air sign, such as an Aquarius, a Libra, or a Gemini that comes into your life. And with it being a Queen card, the interesting thing on this, wow, is if we look at this, there's a mask that this person's holding, and obviously different decks here, and then she's holding a mask as well. So I will say this, there, and I love air signs, but be wary of either a very critical, because let's remember that it doesn't have to just be signs. Queen of Swords is typically the most direct, sometimes in an off-putting, or it can be a painful sort of way. So if you have either a maternal sort of connection to a Queen of Swords personality, or a boss, can be a man too, but very sort of demanding, very critical, and very vocal with what they don't like, makes sense why encourage might come through, because you might be lacking that. If that happens, this is the person that you want to work on shifting the tide a little bit and throwing them some positivity and trying not to feed into their friction, okay? I think we found it there through the symbology of the mask. So be very wary of either an overtly critical sort of authority figure in your life, or it could also read as an air sign. Just make sure that they're being truthful, okay? This is someone that I would ask more questions, and I would be very careful about getting into a relationship with until you know what's going on. Business relationship, personal relationship, whatever. Because we have a very literal card here that says the liar, and then we have that mask card coming, or the mask coming through on this sun and moon deck. So be very, very clear. I've never noticed the mask before. So the other thing that I'm seeing here is butterflies, which signify, well, they can symbolize anyway, transformation. But the other thing here is I read gossip. It read to me almost like the Three of Cups. So this person may be talking behind your back, and if that's the case, you just want to address it, okay? And perhaps disassociate or leave that situation. For some of you, you may depend on this person or may be sort of trapped in that situation. That's why the Eight of Swords. But what I love with this is power is something that we give to other people a lot of times, or it's the reaction that we have to a situation. So I want you to start to find ways to get your own power back, to sort of snip those symbolic cords that are beautifully illustrated here, and realize you are the one in control. And if you don't like where you're at, start to work on how to improve it. It doesn't happen overnight, but you can get there. Many of you this month may be sort of beating yourself up, stressing out, and thinking like, how do I get to the next step in my life? And whenever I see this card, it's usually about taking a deep breath, letting go of some of that, frustration that you're holding maybe in your heart area or in your shoulders, and then starting to open up and educate yourself. Very similar message came through for Aries this month as well. So I need you to release fear and release the stress, because you've got two very stressful and fear-based cards here, and let them be kind of like that card at the top with butterflies. Let them be, okay, I'm excited, I want to make some changes. This isn't working, and I can't wait to sort of see how I can mix it up, how I can change it up. What I see for many of you in sort of the environment is it's time to stop sort of like, it is sort of deceiving yourself, because the Two of Swords is the easiest of all the Swords cards to overcome, because you'll notice that this woman is not ready for basically dealing with what's in front of her. For some of you, that might be relationships. I see this in hopes and fears. So if it is a relationship that's causing this for you, like you're feeling trapped, you're not sure where you stand, take the first step and let the other person know. For those of you that are ready to go out and try something new, that might be what you're looking to do this month. And with the change card here at the end, the Tower, that's okay. You have to follow your heart. I see so many cards, if I pull the camera down here, showing you like right in the moment here, it's almost all swords. Swords is very heavy, like mostly swords this month. We have the Ace of Swords, Queen of Swords, Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and the Two of Swords. So there's a lot going on here with thinking through things, beating yourself up potentially over what's going on. And this card says, let it go, let it flow through you, let the words come out, express yourself. You can't hold it in anymore. It's going to be very healthy for your heart to let go of the stress, because of course this stuff can manifest as hypertension, as a heart attack, a stroke, and I don't want that to happen for you. With the card upright, I'm not afraid, because we didn't get the Three of Swords, I'm not afraid. But what it's saying is the sooner you open up and let go, the better things are going to feel, and possibly for some of you, you could find a better partnership situation if that's what you're looking for. But you have to let go of what's not working, of course, first. Okay, so let's expand your forecast, and then I'll review and bring everything into focus at the end. All right, so first things first, let's take a look at health. Again, mentioning a little bit with possibly hypertension, something you want to be aware of, especially if heart disease or heart attacks run in your family. Please do what you can to reduce heart stress this month. What I love here is this is about as optimistic as you can get with expect a miracle. So if we take a look at this Eight of Swords here, and I love the sort of keyword at the top, which is interference, just expect that you can find a way out. This could come in the way of a new job opportunity. This could come in the way of finally just getting the courage to sign a paper, whether it's a contract for something new or a divorce or whatever it is in your life. You're going to find what it takes to release and move on, okay? So for your health, it's going to improve. For those of you that might have a chronic illness, you might find some relief this month, or for those of you that have been looking for a way to get to the next level of health, maybe lose weight, possibly get over something, this Expect a Miracle card shows that it's really open for positive things to happen. And you should try alternative medicine as well with that, because it's usually out of the norm. When I see miracle, it tells me Eastern, non-Western. So for those of you that are looking for possibly pain relief, you could try acupuncture, acupressure, different types of meditation, etc. Okay, let's take a look at wealth and career. Healing. So it's not they're intertwined, but for wealth, for career, it's time to either let go or fix whatever is broken with your work situation. We've all been in crazy jobs. I've had this in my life too, where you think, how am I going to move forward? You just have to take that step. And this is a good month to do it. It feels like if you don't do it, another situation could happen. The Tower card, there's a reason it looks sort of catastrophic. That's divine intervention. The lightning represents that, the destruction, the intuition. So what it is that you want to look at in your life is, if I stick with whatever the situation is, there's going to be much more negative things than if I just take the chance and move on, okay? If that's the case, then go for moving on. And if you still feel trapped, then you have to head on, sort of like deal with whatever it is that's causing you the pain and the suffering, okay? You have to heal. There's an opportunity for healing anyway. We looked at health, wealth, let's look at love and relationships. Okay. Flow of prosperity. Okay, for those of you that are looking for an out or for a way to find like a better job or something like that, the flow card here, flow of prosperity, also it's perfect here because we've got Lakshman or Lakshmi, which is all about wealth and money. So it's actually coming through friends and loved ones. I know you were wondering like, how does this have to do with my love? Well, what I'm seeing here is that you have a lot of people around you that want you to be happy, that are willing to support you for new sort of endeavors. And even if you do not, in the long run, you might end up with a much better sort of circle of friends if you go after what you're looking for. So the flow of prosperity is saying that in your love life, there's people that really want to help you and would like to shower love onto you. So you have to be open, but there's probably some changes that are holding you back right now. I didn't get the devil card. I think it's more about what's in your mind and fear that's in your heart. So I want you to focus on releasing that and allowing for all these great things which are sort of queued up around the corner to happen. All right, so let's take a look at your destiny card, this trajectory, which is, I forgot to mention this in Aries, but this is a card that you can affect. It's basically a GPS on where you're headed. So I want to see if you're in the right direction. Conscious connections. So with this, the word that I got in my head was sort of like duplicity, doppelganger. I want you to be careful in your circle of friends. There, again, when we look at the liar card, there's somebody who has two faces or is basically presenting themselves as something that they're not. So what I want you to do this month, if you can, is just really be as honest as you can with yourself about what you're looking for, and try not to stick with relationships just because they've been comfortable. This is not saying that you should leave a long-term partner or anything. I'm looking more at sort of toxic friendships, toxic work situations, things where you've sort of, I think it'll be clear to you, either it's not beneficial or you've sort of been deceiving yourself and thinking, I can just put up with this. This month you have a great chance to affect change, so let it happen. All right, let's review everything and I'll bring it into focus for you. The channeled information, which is very positive, is to focus on words of encouragement for yourself and others. And your key learning opportunity this month is to be as honest as possible and to really go face first towards anybody that is not being honest. You want to expose any sort of deception, but in such a way that it's not confrontational. It's, how can we improve this? I think we can do better than this. Or, like, try to be constructive, try to encourage, and then if that doesn't work, then you have to step away. Because when I see the Tower card here, which is flying around, this is all about enough. It has to change, or you have to let it go and you have to build new. Looking quickly at everything here, center card is saying focus your efforts. Temperance is about not going to extremes, so try not to overwork, try not to overindulge. try to really just stay mindful of your 1 or 2 or possibly 3 things that you want to be doing. The beginning of the month is great for sort of checking off those items on your to-do list. It's also really good for physical connections with loved ones, so romantic getaways, etc. Great. For those of you that have been planning, then execution, it's time to actually see those plans through this month. Remember to be very careful if there's any authority figure in your life that sort of matches the description of being way too straightforward, sometimes hurtful, possibly could be an Aquarius, a Libra, or a Gemini. You just need to make sure that they're being truthful with you and not giving you some sort of a lie or deception. This card is basically saying that you're not as trapped as you feel. You've been stressing out a lot, and what you need to do now is release that, face your fears, and go after what you want in your life. Love and also just abundance, because the Ace of Cups does show basically things growing, things flowing. So if you are a writer or a musician and you felt blocked, this month the block will release, and in a wonderful way. You could actually have this whole new sort of like flash of intuition on what to do. This can mean a move. This can mean an unexpected change in job and in relationship status. So what I want you to do is be very mindful of everyone around you, and you can take that Tower card and make it a lot less intense. It can be something where you see it coming, you affect the change, and you feel empowered at the end. Health issues, there could be very great recoveries happening for you, or at least an understanding of where you're at. Faith is going to play a very big role for many of you this month, because the Expect a Miracle card, to me, is connecting, of course, to divine and finding healing through that as well. Non-traditional approaches like acupuncture, acupressure, and chiropractic could be also very beneficial for many of you. For wealth, we're seeing jobs and career opportunities need to be healed. You have to work past anything that's making you feel trapped. For love, basically just that there's a lot of love around you, and that love situation, whether it's great friendships or a partner, they're going to be willing to help you out, many of you, sort of get through the difficult work situation or the deception situation in your life. And you need to just be very aware of what's going on around you. And yeah, no sleepwalking, basically, is what this card says. So it's the antithesis of this Two of Swords, which is open your eyes, accept what's going on, and then become an active sort of like agent of change in that. But I do want I want to end on a good note, which is through encouragement, wonderful things can happen, and you can really mute and change some of these cards, okay? I hope this was helpful for you, and although there's some stuff that you have to work on, it's always good to know that, wow, okay, I need to be a little bit more aware of people and motives this month, but with the Tower card, it's also a card of building new things. So when you let go of something, an exciting phase can happen of self-discovery, of taking a whole different career or life trajectory, moving to another country. The Tower can be quite exciting. So get over the fear part of it. If you can get over the fear part of it, rather, then you can welcome in the abundance part. So I hope that can happen for you. If you ever want more of a personalized reading, I do have one-on-ones, and I'll post a link in the corner, or you can click on the little info tag if you're on a mobile device. Also, if you want to stay in touch, a great way is, of course, to subscribe to the channel. And I have a newsletter as well, which will kind of let you know when the videos are published each month. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And finally, thank you so much for all the support. I love seeing the likes, the subscribes, and all the comments, which are really encouraging. And it helps me month to month sort of think, this is worth it. This is making a difference. So thank you so much for your support as well. If you feel like you'd like to support me monetarily, I'll also put a donate button, because this is sort of like a volunteer type thing that I do. So if you want to do that, it'd be appreciated, but it's not required. All right, that's all for this month. Do take care of yourselves. Good luck for those of you that have started a new school or new job. I feel like with this Tower, it's going to be very beneficial, and you're going to have a chance to basically start new and hopefully release cycles. That's why you want to look at whatever you've either been not looking at, like whatever the deception is in your life, whether it's been, I don't want to see this, or someone else has been pulling the wool over your eyes. This month, you're going to see the truth, okay? Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again next month. Satnam. Bye-bye.